Every time I work on a project intensely like that, I always find new ways to procrastinate. And this time around, I started making different key group instruments on the MPC, just like this lo-fi-esque sounding instrument. And that's what this video is about. It's pretty easy to make an instrument in the MPC's key group. I use it all the time for bass, but you have to have a cool sound to put into the key group. For a while I have been wanting to sample my bass into my SP505 and make some kind of instrument that didn't sound like a bass. So that's what I did for this project. I couldn't connect my bass directly to the SP505, so I had to connect it to my audio interface and then record the output from the audio interface into the SP505. On the SP505, there are 3 different audio quality settings that you can choose from. The one that is called standard is 44.1 kHz, standard CD quality. And there's a setting called long, which has around 22 kHz sample rate and allows for longer recording time. And the last one is called lo-fi, which is about 11 kHz, which is what I used for this project. I recorded a few C notes from different places on the bass, a mid note, a high note, as high as a bass can get, and a low note. And once I had it recorded, I resampled it a few times. I wanted to use some of the nice effects that the SP505 has. Also kind of tune my sound. On my first resampling pass, I don't quite remember what I did, but I must have done some compression, and there was also a goal of mine to kind of remove some of the low frequency from the sample because I didn't want it to sound too much like a bass. On the second pass, I added tremolo to get that classic lo-fi wobbling sound. Now that I was done on the SP, I recorded the sound into the MPC and normalized it. For some reason it was recorded kind of weird, not loud enough on one of the tracks, but that doesn't really matter because I was going to make it mono anyway. If you don't make it mono, it might sound muddied later. For instance, if you play like a chord, there's going to be one stereo sound playing for each note that you're playing. After making it mono, I extracted each of these sounds into separate files. I could chop them up like I would on a regular sample and put them into a program. This is just another way to do that. Now it's time to put the sound into a key group program. So I made a new one, renamed it, and after that I went into program edit and added the brightest sounding of my samples into the first sample layer. A feature that is pretty cool in key groups is that you can have different sample layers cover different note ranges on the keyboard. For instance, if you have like a low note, that low note can cover like the 2 lowest octaves, and then a mid note can cover the next 2, and so on. That might give you better results than having one sample to cover the whole spectrum. That was originally my plan, but I didn't like the transitions between the different octaves when it changed sample. So I decided against that, and now I'm going only with one sample. It's the brightest one, but it's on the brightest one on the bass, so it's pretty much in the middle anyway. I decided on a note range from C1 to B6. I don't see any reason to go below that, and also playing it super bright is gonna sound silly anyway. And now the key group is ready, but there was one thing I felt that was missing. I added a low pass filter on it to make it more muffled and lo-fi sounding. I also experimented with adding a little bit more wobble to it inside the key group. In the end, I decided against it. There's enough wobble in the sample already. Now, all that is left to do is to make a beat. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe, and if you want to learn how to make your kicks go thump, you should watch this video next.